If you are feeling creatively stuck or chronically uninspired by your life, there is a very good chance that you are actually just overstimulated because you're spending too much time on your phone. So today, I'm going to share some of my favorite offline sources of inspiration. Hello, my name is Anna, and welcome to Ambitious Softie, where I show you how to spend less time on your phone and more time actually enjoying your life. If that sounds like something that you could use, make sure to subscribe and let's get into today's video. Now, I know I'm not the only one who's ever looked up from my phone after falling down a scroll hole and thought, I will never get those hours of my life back and I don't even know where they went. And don't get me wrong, I love my phone. It adds so much to my life. It's how I connect with my friends, it's how I collaborate and share ideas, and it's literally how I make a living. But it also takes a lot from me. Mostly, it takes my attention span, which, to be honest, was like trying to catch a butterfly in a botanical garden before Instagram and TikTok even came along. But my big excuse for defending my screen time is that I need it for inspiration. And while this is partially true, I often lean way too heavily on that excuse. I rely too much on the idea that my next creative breakthrough is just one swipe away, because it's probably not. That line of thinking is more likely to be the exact reason why I feel creatively blocked. I have discovered that my most electric creative energy comes alive when my brain has time to wander quietly instead of chain smoking podcasts and numbing out on Instagram. So in the name of less doom scrolling and more actual life, today I'm sharing 11 ways to find inspiration offline. My first suggestion is to aimlessly wander through museums and galleries. Now, I have loved museums since I was a kid. To me, they are the original creative reset button. Obviously, it's cool and inspiring to see the different skills and colors and ideas, but there's something really magical about being surrounded by other people's obsessions and visions and their life's work. I prefer to go to museums alone. That way I don't have to be preoccupied about whether my companion is bored or if they don't enjoy the things that I enjoy. And a pro tip is to not sleep on the museum gift shop. This is truly a goldmine of inspiration. You're going to find books you've never heard of, quirky postcards and games, funky jewelry that help you live out your eclectic art teacher aesthetic fantasy. And even if you don't buy anything, it's always worth a little browse. Next up is headphone-free walks. And no, I will not shut up about this. Go take a walk with nothing in your ears. So no podcast, no playlist. Leave those little earbuds at home, my angel. And I can hear you already, but I need them. No, you don't. Headphone-free walks are one of my top creative practices. It's where my ideas can stretch out their little arms and legs into the outrageous and audacious places that they deserve to go. It's where the solutions to my dilemmas find me, and plus these walks are a great way to practice being a little bored. And boredom is sacred, hallowed ground for the blocked creative. Boredom is the birthplace of brilliant ideas. Next up is the magazine stand. So before we had Instagram and Pinterest, we had magazines. These were my first portal into beauty, fashion, interiors, photography, and ideas that I couldn't access anywhere else. I grew up in a conservative Christian household where inspiration was, well, let's just say it wasn't going to be coming from the Bibles or the hymnals. In fact, magazines were contraband. So this is a way that I can connect with my inner teenage rebellion. And yes, print media is a dying art, but be the change that you want to see in the world, okay? The fonts, the layouts, the weird editorials. Magazines are the tactile rabbit hole that you've been looking for. If you want to find really good and interesting ones, make sure to check out indie bookstores, thrift shops, estate sales, and if you ever find a stack of vintage National Geographics, congratulations, you have found the Holy Grail. Next up is to literally go outside. Yes, I am telling you to go touch grass. Go sit on a bench, let your skin feel the sun and the wind, notice the sky, marvel at the actual miracle of a tree. The thing I love about going outside is that it reminds me that it's not about me. It puts things into perspective and it reminds me that abundance is everywhere. I mean, nature creates without asking for permission. It doesn't rush, it doesn't doubt, it just does what it does. Nature is the original effortless creator. Nature is that girl. Next up are old encyclopedias. I have a thing for old encyclopedias. They're very nostalgic, and I remember getting lost in this 30-volume hand illustrated one that we had in my childhood home. But they're a time capsule of pre-internet curiosity. They are strange, they are outdated, they are sometimes wildly biased, but they are also full of incredible photographs, diagrams, illustrations, and information that you would never stumble on otherwise. A few years ago, I actually found a set at Goodwill, and I see them there all the time. And you don't even have to have the full set. You can just grab whatever ones you see. I mean, look at this. This is pretty cool. May I interest you in a 6-page spread about horses? The next thing on my list is secondhand art books. It's a cousin of encyclopedias. Secondhand art books are my white whale. They are a little bit more difficult to find, and estate sales are actually your best bet to track them down. A quick note on estate sales while I'm on the topic, a great source of inspiration. Estate sales are often happening in the wealthier neighborhoods wherever you live, so check them out online and see if you can find any. But when it comes to secondhand art books, the artists you'll find in them are usually not the ones that you're ever going to see on the algorithm. They're from other decades, other worlds entirely. I've actually been collecting them for several years now, and people know to give them to me as gifts, which is like the actual dream. I mean, I don't know who this guy is, but I'm really glad I own his book. Every time I open one of these, I feel like I'm in a conversation with the artist across time and space. So, secondhand art books. Next is the library. I will never stop evangelizing about libraries, especially when it comes to getting art and architecture books and cookbooks. If your library system has multiple branches, you can usually request books from other locations. So don't sleep on your library's feature to request books from other libraries. I do this for cookbooks all the time. I'll go to the bookstore and find a few that I find interesting, or maybe browse online and then request them from the library. A good cookbook full of gorgeous photography and unconventional food pairings just does something to my brain. And when it comes to art and architecture books, publishers like Toshin or Phaidon make these enormous, gorgeous coffee table books that are just a delight to browse. I will actually go to the publisher's websites and look for the ones that I'm interested in, and then go to my library's website and type in the titles and see if I can order them. Also, if you live in a major city or near a university, do a search of the best libraries in your area to see if there are any cool ones that you might want to go visit and make a day out of it. Next up is arboretums and botanical gardens. So there's regular outside, and then there's curated outside. Arboretums and botanical gardens are like nature on steroids. Everything is organized, labeled, expertly landscaped in a way that just allows you to kind of drink up all of the inspiration. If you go, take a sketchbook with you, even if you're not somebody who can draw. It's fun to just hang out and doodle and take notes and journal. Pretend you're Audubon or a Victorian botanist. You can usually bring a little picnic with you or grab something from the cafe and just spend the afternoon wandering around and enjoying all of the hard work that goes into maintaining those gardens. Whenever I do this, these types of days spent just wandering around in these beautiful curated gardens, they leave me feeling creatively refreshed is the best way to describe it. Next on the list is to take yourself out to dinner with a book or a sketchbook. This is one of my favorite things to do. So just take yourself on a date with a book that you've been meaning to read or your sketchbook so you can doodle in it. It feels cinematic, like you're the main character in a French indie film who's rediscovering her sensual creative self after a decade of creative hibernation. Order something indulgent, eavesdrop a little, sip your cocktail, read your book by the candlelight. And if you're nervous about going by yourself, go sit at the bar. You'll have a built-in wing person with the bartender there, and you're way less likely to feel self-conscious about being there by yourself. Next on the list is to go see a movie alone. Going to the movies by myself always feels like a special treat, especially when I'm seeing something that's kind of out of left field or maybe not something that my friends would enjoy seeing with me. It is delightful to just plunge yourself into someone else's cinematic world for a few hours. I especially love doing it in the afternoons because something about the energy of a matinee just hits differently. And last on the list is natural history museums. Lest you think you left those behind on a 5th grade field trip, think again. If you have the great privilege of having a natural history museum in your city, do yourself a favor and go, because these places are weird in all the right ways. Dinosaurs, gemstones, dioramas of prehistoric humans hunting woolly mammoths with pointy sticks. There's just so much sensory and conceptual stimulation in these spaces. It feels impossible not to leave without your imagination fired up in some way. Natural history museums are a giant cabinet of curiosities where the aesthetics, the exhibits, the color palettes, and even the typography in the old display cases can be incredibly inspiring. So check out if they do free entry for local residents before you go, and have a great time. It is good to be a little bored and slow sometimes. If you are creatively stuck or chronically uninspired by your life, you are probably overstimulated by the noise and the pace of a world filled with technology. So try giving yourself a little space to wander, because your ideas need room to breathe. Your inspiration needs the slowness. Your creativity needs space to poke around the dusty basement of your brain without getting distracted by Instagram every 5 seconds. So go somewhere weird, touch something real, and let your brain get quiet enough to hear its own voice again, because you're not meant to be stuck inside scrolling your phone this much. You're an artist, you're a dreamer, you're a curious little goblin with a big heart and a lot to say. So go get out there, put your phone down, and go find your magic. What would you add to this list? Do you have any favorite offline activities that are a reliable source of creative inspiration for you? Drop them down in the comments. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on the next one.